Hello, Wellness Check Wednesdays community. We wanted to take a moment to remind you that while our podcast serves as a safe space for open discussions and sharing experiences, we are not mental health experts. This podcast is a platform for you to express your thoughts, feelings, and experiences in a judgment-free zone. Our aim is to foster connection, provide support, and create a sense of community. It's crucial to acknowledge that we are not a substitute for professional mental health advice or treatment. If you or someone you know is dealing with mental health challenges, we strongly encourage seeking guidance from qualified professionals. Remember, reaching out to mental health experts can make a significant difference. If you ever feel the need, don't hesitate to connect with a licensed therapist, counselor, or healthcare professional.
This is the Wellness Check Wednesdays podcast, a share space, a judgment-free zone, a place to meet and discuss our mental health. So let's check in.
5, 4, 2.5. We did it. Shit gave me the option to do not show again. Well. Hold on one second. Let me see. No. I said, speaking my word. Hold on one second. Give me a moment here. Do something real quick. Check 1, check 2. Yeah, that's what I wanted to do. All right. And says I'm recording, so screw it. We'll go with it.
Yeah, you're recording.
Well. It's been a couple weeks, fellas. And to all of our listeners out there, we celebrated a Thanksgiving holiday. Made some shifts and some moves and everything, and we're back. And it is a Wednesday, and this is the Wellness Check Wednesdays podcast, episode 49, where we are on this mental health journey together. And we always encourage everyone to let's check in. You should know my voice by now. If you do not, my name is Brian Livingston. I am the moderator of the Wellness Check Wednesdays podcast, and setting up in my home office here and everything, trying to do things, moving and shaking and everything like that. But when it comes to the Wellness Check Wednesdays podcast, me being the moderator, I try to stay out of the way. I try to Amtrak things. I am terrible at it. But we're going to take a quick little trip when it comes to one of the originators of the Wellness Check Wednesdays podcast by way of Cleveland, Ohio, my man, Edwin Vereen.
First of all, Be Live, it was great seeing you during the Thanksgiving holidays, having fun, and you wanted to watch wrestling. That's a funny insider, but I'm doing good, man. I can't complain. Came back here and got a cold, I guess, but I know how it happened, but it's just something I got to avoid. But I'm on the back end of the cold. I'm in the middle of high school basketball season. We have 2 live stream games, and so other than that, man, I'm living, breathing, hustling, grinding, and I cannot complain, not whatsoever.
Man, oh man, when it comes to complaining, we could, but who'd actually hear us out? Also, we're going to go by way one of our regulars, as you would have it. Mm-hmm. We're going to travel to parts unknown in Oklahoma. My man B3, Brad, how you doing today?
I'm good, man. I'm trying not to burn the candle at both ends, but just trying to make it through the rest of this year, man. It's glad to be above ground.
Oh man, glad to have you. My man Kevin sends his regards. I was switching up from the studio, so he got to learn some technologicals and whatnots and what have you, but he will be with us when he can. Fellas, to all of our listeners, ladies participated with us as well. we have embarked on a year on this Wellness Check Wednesday journey. Mm-hmm. A year of the podcast, because I know, Edwin, you've been checking in with people for way longer than that, but we came together and decided to do this Wellness Check podcast. And based off of your checking in with everybody, it's been a year, 49 episodes, because we had to take a couple weeks off. We know there's 52 weeks in a year. But before we jump into a year, mm-hmm. I have to clarify this. I have to ask this. Edwin, did you explain to Brad about you wanted to watch wrestling, where that came from?
Okay, Brad. So the bit for those of you watching us on Facebook Live, this story is so funny. Like whenever me and B Live get together, guaranteed you got 2 or 3 good stories. We also got some reminders that we needed, but the story is much better.
Yes.
So who was it? It was you. It was myself, my boy Ronnie, and the 3 of us.
No, 4. What was
4? Vince came by too.
Yeah,
Vince came by too, and so we was like, yeah, it's a Friday night. We're gonna watch Friday Night SmackDown. We're gonna watch wrestling. Somehow, some way, I forgot that some rivalries, college football rivalries, on rivalry weekend, they're played on Fridays. Either Fridays or Saturdays. Man, we had a barn burner on Friday night. We had Georgia Tech versus Georgia. And B-Lab was like, man, turn to the game. I was like, click, I turned the game. And I'm like, I wanted to watch wrestling. This game is pretty good. And so this game went to 8 overtimes. I forgot what the score is, but it went to 8 overtimes and Georgia won. And every time we would go from one overtime to the next, we was like, boy, man, this game is good. This game is good. And then we say, and you wanted to watch wrestling.
Man, it was just so funny because I was like, because I forgot about it too. And I was like, wait a minute. Friday. Oh, Georgia Tech, Georgia. And we started watching right in the thick of things, and then every single overtime. I keep looking over to him. I'm like, you wanted to watch wrestling. And so that was literally our catchphrase the entire weekend. And then it didn't even get any better because on Saturday we dubbed it Disrespectful Saturday.
Disrespectful Saturday. Oh man, disrespectful Saturday. Not rivalry weekend. Rivalry weekend, that's an old term. As of right now, rivalry weekend is known as disrespectful Saturday. The level of disrespect in the college football landscape on rivalry weekends, weeks 1 through 9 or whatever, you be cool. I mean, not 1 through 9, but 1 through whatever. You play it cool, you be nice, you play good. But that last game of the season, when you play your rivalry, man, all that mess go out the window, right?
Everybody putting a flag in the home teams, because literally all the road teams won in all the big rivalries. Ohio State, Michigan, Clemson, South Carolina. What was it? Arizona State, Arizona. I'm thinking about all the fights. North Carolina State,
yeah.
Notre Dame, Southern California. All of these games ended up in some type of fight.
Wow.
But the majority of the ones, especially one in Ohio State, Michigan, where they had to pepper spray the teams.
Yeah.
Because all they want to do is plant the flag or plant the symbol on the home team's turf and everything like that. And then you had all the fights, and man. But it was so much fun and everything. But that was us catching up on the weekend and everything like that. So that's what happened since our last Wellness Check Wednesday podcast. So man, it was food for the soul. God, it was we had so much fun. We laughed, and again, we also were reminded why we moved away from home.
Yeah, you get those reminders about, you know what? And people be like, oh, you're up here? How come you're not in Myrtle Beach? Exhibit A.
I told and Brad, and I mean no disrespect to anybody that listens.
No disrespect, none whatsoever.
To our podcast from back home. No disrespect. this applies to you, I am sorry. If it does not apply to you, then keep doing what you're doing. But if I was ever to have a redo of growing up in Myrtle Beach, North Myrtle Beach, and I would open up a dentistry. I said, you know what? I that reminds me, I need to book an appointment immediately because boy, it just it was yeah.
Grill's gone bad.
And so it's crazy. I say that because I mean, a part of our mental health is also our physical health, and I mean, we get a few chuckles in it, but at the end of the day, it was just like when we saw what we saw back home, it was kind of depressing, and it was like, come on, people, like, I believe you can figure this out, but it's the nature of what home is. It's a tourist town, and so everything's happening during the summer, or the spring and summer months. Everything's popping. During the winter months, it's depressing. You see the same few folk that live there, and I mean, they're building and building. But the thing about it is, what they're building and the people that are moving down there are in their 50s, their 60s, their 70s. People are retiring there and in droves and moving down there. It ain't for our age. And so the people that are there, that have been there, that's still there that are in our age group, some of them are making it, doing their thing. Some of them are stuck. And I'm just like, ooh, I'm glad I got out of here, because this would be a whole nother podcast talk about our mental health when we were stuck back at home. So I attribute part of this episode and our 1 year mark being able to say that the ability and the capability to move away from home has different challenges, but it gives us the ability to see things from a different angle, a different light. And so the challenges that we do face, adaptability usually is not one of them. We've lived in multiple places, met all kinds of different people. And I know, Brad, I know you've also mentioned your moves and everything like that. So adaptability has never been our weak point. I don't know if that all applies to you, but from what I've gathered, from what the stories that you've told us, I don't think that's an issue for you either.
No, not entirely. Except when it came to Florida, I just hated it there.
Well, Florida's just different. They just no. Speaking about 50, 60, 70-year-old people moving there, that's that, and then you got to deal with them swamp animals and oh boy, oh no.
Florida woman.
Florida man, stands out of his window and says, "Flying Melbo," and he jumps off into a pit of alligators.
Oh man,
I almost said flying something else, but that's for another podcast.
I thought you did say it. That's why I'm laughing.
Oh man, but yeah, this year I look at from where we started, and the steps we've gone through to where we're at now, and the steps moving forward and everything like that. Of course, it is a transition moving away from the studio, and I can say this. I can say this with pride, is that I've grown from it. I have my skill set from when I first started at the studio to where I'm at now is exponentially greater, especially when it comes to the podcasting world, video editing world, and stuff like that. So I've taken a lot of great skill from it. The studio has transitioned to there is a local news station that is renting out the studio entirely. And so that was always, I know that was always a dream for my business partner, the owner of the facility. And so I'm happy for that. And now I get to venture on to bigger and better, and so with stuff like that. So I mean, I've already gotten multiple opportunities that I'm just waiting on things to come into full fruition before I announce them to the world. But I assure you, I'm in a better spot than where I was.
Mine's been busy. Yeah, be like, I will say that, man. So just a little quick reflection. While we talking like on the year, man. Wow. That's all I gotta say about 2024. Is wow in a good way, a bad way, and an indifferent way. I remember last year when we embarked on this conquest known as the Wellness Check Wednesdays podcast. We kind of had like a format. We're gonna, somebody was in my ear, like, maybe you should screen callers and screen people come in and give them the Zoom link and they can sit there and da 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 and do. I was like, well, how about this? Here's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna do this first and see where it goes. As far as like, okay, it's the podcast. Okay, we're just talking about mental health. Hey, Be Live, don't forget to tell the people that we're not licensed professionals, and make sure you put that disclaimer on there. Bam, lamb. He came up with a disclaimer, and the rest was history after that, man. And it's just having the chance to have the people that we had on the podcast who work in the industry to talk with us from many facets of the industry, and to also hear what we had to say, and having that ability to be vulnerable and the ability to be transparent. Because especially us as black men, they like to say, okay, you guys are not this and you guys are not that. But like, well, now I want to say it's okay. And it's not looked as, you being all soft and sensitive. It's like, look, I'm a man and I got feelings too. And I want to talk about them. And us being in the safe space, it's been a beautiful thing, man. From episode 1 to episode 49, it's been nothing. It's absolute beautiful, and I love it. And I want to keep this thing going, because a lot of podcasts, they don't make it past the 8th episode. Be Live, us together, and actually all of us in our other podcasts, the Connoisseurs Pro Wrestling Podcast, Sports Bowls Podcast, Sports Perspectives Podcast, and the One to Check Wednesday Podcast, we've blown past the 8th episode mark, so it ain't nowhere to go but up. But out of all the podcasts, I love this one, not just like everybody else, because I get to talk about something I'm passionate about, mental health, and how to improve it, and how to be better, and just try to, and like my goal going into 2025 is to not be doing the same thing that's unproductive of things of that nature that I was doing in 2024.
Oh man, oh man. And I much appreciate being a part of that with you, with everything that we do together, and especially like that. I also I see that we have our other originator that has stepped into the chat.
Hell yeah. Look, I finally linked in.
There he is. There he is. What's up, Cliff?
By way of Fayetteville, North Carolina.
Yo.
Looks like he's outside of one of our spots.
A little bit.
From the NXT parking lot.
The most dangerous parking lot in the business.
So, Kevin, we're reflecting on a year. We've been doing this for a year. This is episode 49, but this is our 1-year anniversary of the Wellness Check Wednesdays podcast. This is your baby. This is Edwin's baby, man. And so, how do you feel about after a year of doing this, man?
It's honestly giving me a sense of enlightenment. It's giving me a sense of try to understand what's going on, but try to always also be helpful too. And reflecting on the different topics and the different things that we have talked about, it gives a sense of pride knowing that we're not another average Joe podcast. We're not another just regular day podcast with 3 guys getting together talking about who knows what, but to actually show that it's okay to be vulnerable, to show that it's okay to be understanding, to show that it's okay to listen. It brings you almost like a self-centered worth of peace. And from the laughters, from the tears, from the ups, the downs that we have all encountered, it's one of those things that I was glad that we were able to bring this into for tuition. We were able to bring this to light. We were able to bring this to a platform that, by all means, I hope it reaches everybody.
Oh yeah, and we're not gonna stop. We hit a bump, hit a hiccup. We enjoyed our holiday in our various different places, everything like that. Hey,
Oh
but
yeah.
we back at it, man, and there's
Mm-hmm.
no intention on stopping, and we want to reach many. But one thing more than anything, reach one, and
Oh yeah.
and that's always been something that, especially just if it is nothing else but an outlet for us, like I've grown immensely with my mental game in the past year just by sitting back and hearing that and not only the fact that I'm not going through this alone. That's the biggest thing,
Right.
is that we have this outlet, we have this core that we can rely on. And I'd be like, hey, bro, hey, today I've been fighting, I've been going through it, but man, I'm just knowing that this is here. I thank Edwin, I thank you and Kevin, thank you um for this brainchild and everything like that, and I'm thankful to facilitate it, and I will do my best to continue to do so in this capacity, man. And so, like, I pose this to all of you. Where do you see this? Where do you see the Wellness Check Wednesdays podcast a year from now, going into 2025?
Honestly, like I want to reach the masses by the minuscule of a molecule. I want to be able to.
One more time.
Hey, look, it sounded good in my head, bro.
Oh boy. I get what you mean, though. I was like, what?
I was gonna roll with it, but oh boy. It's one of those things, because for those that are listening, we've dealt with Kevin for quite a while. For those that know him, it's you know what he was trying to say.
Yeah.
It's just that one was woof.
Hey, right. I'm messing with you, Kev, man. Do your thing, man. I had to rip it, but they had to get you, man. I'm just messing with you.
What?
In all honesty, though, like I really want this to reach the masses of higher gratitude, higher purpose. Like I really want this, and by all means, Ed, I know you're doing your thing. B, I know you're doing your thing. AD, I know you're doing your thing. But like, just spreading it by word of mouth and showing people that we're four average black men getting together to speak on something that is real and something that is vulnerable. Like, bro, if I can, I want this to hit the White House ears.
He sees the sky is the limit, and beyond the skies and all the things and whatnot. And one thing that can happen more than anything about that is just and we've done it over the course of the year, is that consistency factor. And now it's just a matter of letting people know that, hey, this is a comfortable outlet. Like, this is something we do this every week because we're comfortable in our and the thing about this is that and there was still times, like, within the beginning stages of it, I was like, I don't know if I want to talk about that. And then the more we speak on it, it's like, why the heck not?
Yeah.
Why keep holding in stuff that's only doing nothing but affecting me physically, because I'm not dealing with it mentally. And as that's my journey coming up right now. I've been over 40 for quite a bit. Now I'm starting that physical journey into it. Like, hey, doctor, I'm gonna need you to check that prostate on no Diddy. All right, cool. But I'm thinking about this is that those conversations I wouldn't have with myself last year.
Mm.
I wouldn't have had those conversations. I need to really start worrying about my physical health in order, because it does affect your mental health.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Brad, where do you see yourself in your mental growth in a year, and also the podcast itself?
Well, in a year's time, I've been in a whole other city for a whole year now. So mental state has gotten much better since I left Florida. I've been able to do more things, see more people, just be happier in my environment. Still trying to understand the whole concept of snow, but that's a whole
Oh boy.
whole other thing. I know from the Midwest and the Carolinas and everywhere else that gets it all the time. I'm like, ooh, oh goodness, stuff. But mentally, it's gotten a little bit better, in comparison to how it was last year. Been able to do some pretty cool stuff this year, which helped with my mental health. So that's always a bonus. And as for the podcast, in the coming future for the podcast, I want to see, more mental health care professionals, join us, discuss some things, field our questions, field viewer questions, kind of take it to the people here and there, just to kind of see what they can, see what questions we can present to them and what kind of feedback they can give to us. We kind of, for anonymous purposes, if necessary, we can even go that route. Just several different things, and I just want to see us on like a really like an elevated platform, because this show deserves to be on that. And I came in when the cast was a little bit different, so I kind of came in, just as a listener, just like, hey, cool, and then from week to week and disappeared for a little bit. Then I came back and was way more consistent after that. Just seeing how the show has grown and getting to know you guys and everything. So it's been fantastic. Getting to know you guys and us as Black men. Dealing with our mental health and things, just because life is just crazy.
Yeah,
right.
And the world doesn't make it much easier on us. So
No, it doesn't.
yeah,
you ain't lying about that. And real quick, to piggyback off of one thing that you said, it's like going with the musical genre of what Dax is doing, that he's not labeled in the country, he's not labeled in the rap, but he's labeled into, I forgot what he called it, but it's a thoughtful genre, to where he wants to reach people not by the music he's making, but by the words that he's speaking.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so, that makes sense.
And a thought that just jumped in my head on Brad when you was just speaking on the heck. I got some connects. If it we might be a mainstay on a television station or something like that. And Wellness Check Wednesdays showing on Fay News 10. I don't know how it works, but hey,
hey man, that can work.
That is true.
And like I said, the nominality, I don't even think that's how the word goes. But
anonymity.
We give it an anonymity. We like I said, we don't profess. We are not professional.
No whatsoever.
By all means, no.
So don't be hitting me with the grammaticals. Hey, sometimes the slip of the tongue here and there. I try. Ooh, boy.
Yeah,
I'm still from the country.
Yeah. Be told that boy Xavier Leggett, man. Be told that boy, I gotta do what I gotta do. Hey, anything happen. But yeah, as far as the two-part question goes, I've always felt like every year from a mental health standpoint, ever since 2020, I've grown exponentially. And I don't know if I told you guys, but I haven't had therapy in about 6 months. And yeah, and I've been thinking about going back to it as of late, kind of like a once a month thing, just to check in and let my therapist know everything's cool, fine, and dandy. Because she said, hey, you know how to get a hold to me as well too, and that's that. And so I like situations that would kind of just, I'm able to think myself through situations more rationally instead of emotionally, because that's something I battled with for a long time. Just being emotional, and so now it's just at the point like, hey, this is how you do this, this, and this. And so just telling myself how to move in certain situations. That's how I improved a great deal of mental health, and also how to handle hostile conversations and also uncomfortable conversations. So it's just a big, upgrade learning, upward mobility, if you will, just going nowhere but up. And as far as the podcast go, man, this podcast ain't going nowhere but up and then some. I would
Amen.
also,
Amen.
yes, I would also like to get involvement from the listeners, the viewers, like Brad said, kind of like a Q&A type of thing. And Be Live, I recently met a therapist while we're in Myrtle Beach. And so I would like to use my connections because I know several therapists and just get them to come on and kind of, not give us a free session, but kind of absorb what we have going on and then kind of bounce ideas and everything off of each other. So therapists within the sound of my voice that on a personal level, you're more than welcome to come on the Wellness Check Wednesday pod. This is our invitation for you.
Amen.
Such a wonderful platform. And yeah, man, nowhere to go but up, man. One day we can make it to video and everybody can see what we got going on. And yeah, those are some of the ideas, some of the plans. And so yeah, it ain't nowhere to go but up. Nowhere to go but up.
Amen.
I want to take this little couple minutes that we have left before Zoom kicks us off or whatnot. This is what we're doing. Mm-hmm. But I want to thank y'all for your patience with me, because I know that the transition has been a little bit, but I'm set back up where I need to be at the crib. You got to be all professional and whatnot. But there are a lot of goals that I do have set right here that I can do right here from home and everything like that. And with the communication level between you guys to build this podcast even more, I appreciate your patience with me. And like I said, there are so many plans that I have that I can see within this podcast and everything that I am associated with. So stay tuned, everyone, for 2025. Because
we coming in with a bang.
We're coming in hot.
Yeah.
Coming in hot.
What they say on that stump the yard? We rep the T. T.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. Oh man. And you hit it with the Booker T. Yeah, man.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
Hell yeah.
Oh man. But I thank each and every one of y'all. I thank all of our listeners, participants all throughout this year. And to many more, we continue to encourage you at any given point in time. This mental health journey is not easy. We know that. We're going through it. We all are going through it. And man, oh man, do not ever forget that this is an open space. This is a place that you can come, let loose every single Wednesday. And you don't have to wait on Wednesday. If you need to reach out to any one of us, and we are available, we try to be available, seek professional help. Always, we are not professionals, but we thank each and every one of you for coming along this journey with us, and to many more weeks and to many more Wednesdays to come. We encourage each and every one of y'all to
let's check in.
And we're out.
Already, fellas.
Oh man, love you guys. See y'all next week. Yes,
This is the Wellness Check Wednesdays podcast, a share space, a judgment-free zone, a place to meet and discuss our mental health. So let's check in.